What's up, peoples of IRC and elsewhere? This is Undefeatable Twilight. I just felt like doing another of these kind of videos again, so I'm going to rant at you for about 20 minutes, okay? As with the last one, don't take me seriously. I'm over-exaggerating my natural pedantic qualities. These things do bother me and do get on my nerves, but I'm not going to choke you to death if you do this in real life when you're with me, unless you overuse it. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, also I want to make a quick correction to something I said in the last top 10 Nitpicks video, which is when I said that the area code for Gloucester's phone number was 01524. That's wrong, it's 01452. 01524 is the area code for Lancaster, where I live right now. I got them mixed up. They're the same numbers, just in a different order, and I wasn't really thinking, I was talking faster than my brain could keep up with, so I made a lot of errors in that video. I watched it and I was actually going, oh god, did I really say that? Because I didn't even realise. But I'll try not to let that happen again. So let's get into this. I have a top 10 behind my phone, which is what I'm using to record. So here we go. First one is a prequel. This is how do I put this? A prequel is not merely an installment that comes before another installment. Like, you can't say Star Wars Episode 4 is a prequel to Star Wars Episode 5. No, that's not what a prequel is. A prequel is a installment in a series that comes after something else, but is chronologically set before it. So Star Wars Episode 1 is a prequel to Star Wars Episode 4 because it was released afterwards, but it's set chronologically before it. But Star Wars Episode 1 is not a prequel to Star Wars Episode 2 because Star Wars Episode 2 came after Episode 1. You see? Prequels by definition are released after the things they're prequels of. That's the main thing to keep in mind. The term for something that's previous in the series is just a prior installment. That's it. So Star Wars Episode 4 is a prior installment to Star Wars Episode 5, and Star Wars Episode 5 is a prior installment to Star Wars Episode 6, etc. If something is released afterwards but set in between two bits in the series, I can't think of any specific examples here, that's called an interquel. Inter meaning between in Latin, obviously. So yeah. Number 2, this really gets on my nerves. Dice is plural, okay? The singular is die. Yes, that is what it's actually called. You can't roll a dice. That would be like walking a dog's. You roll a die, or you roll 2 dice, or 3 or 4, however many you have. I've even heard people, no joke, no irony, pluralize it as dices. How the F do you want to borrow a quote from one of JonTron's videos here? Dice wasn't enough for you? You want to pluralize the plural? Come on, people. 1 die, 2 dice. It's not hard. Get it right. Okay, number 3 is oft used expression, which is oft wrongly used. Begging the question. Despite what it may sound like, it doesn't mean the same thing as raising the question. Begging the question is a bit of a misleading term, because it actually refers to a specific type of logical fallacy. The proper term for which is petitio principii, which is Latin for pursuit or attack of the source. It's basically when you mistake the argument for the evidence. So, for example, if you want to know which of these mushrooms is poisonous, eat one. If it kills you, it's poisonous. That's begging the question. That's petitio principii, because you want to know which one is poisonous so you can avoid eating it and getting killed by it. That's what that means. But people use begging the question to mean raising the question, as in, if you didn't put the shaved chocolate in my coffee, then it begs the question of who did. No, that's wrong. You mean it raises the question of who did. Number 4. I know not many Americans can speak French very well, and I know I'm overgeneralizing, but again, don't take me seriously in this video. But there is a thing that happens a lot when French loanwords get borrowed in American English, and sometimes British English too. I won't exclude my own nationality from this, which is called hyperforeignism, which is when people know that they're not pronounced like they should be according to English rules, but they go a bit too far in the other direction. And there's one word in particular that a lot of Americans mispronounce, as in they don't pronounce it anything like how French people would pronounce it. And that word is, in American pronunciation, lingerie. That is nowhere near how it's pronounced in French. It's actually more like lingerie. Lingerie. If it was lingerie, it would be spelled something like Longere with an acute accent. It's lingerie. It's just that. It's not really that all that weird of a pronunciation. So, number 5. This is something I see a lot online. It's because it's mainly a written thing. I've never actually seen this done in speech, but and hopefully will never do so. The usual abbreviation for come on is come on, C''MON. It's not COMMON. That spells common, which is a different word altogether. I've seen tons of people use common as to mean come on, and it baffles me, because common is not only a word in itself, but ironically a very common word. How can people forget this? People use the word common in everyday language, usually anyway. Come on. It's not common, it's come on, 2 words. And if you want to abbreviate it, come on, C''MON. I honestly don't get why people make this error. And speaking of which, every day is the next thing I want to complain about. Listen to it. Every day, as in one word, is an adjective. It means ordinary. I was going to say uncommon then, but that means exactly the opposite. What's all about? Not uninteresting. I can't think of words. Yeah, but it just means ordinary, common, every day. Like, I don't know. Murder is an everyday sight here on the streets of San Francisco, and I just picked a place at random. People who live in San Francisco, don't get on my case, okay? I'm just pulling out words off the top of my head here. Yeah, that's what everyday means. It doesn't literally mean every day. If you put it as 2 words, every day, then that means occurring within each 24-hour period. Like, I go swimming every day at the pools, the swimming pool or whatever. I've seen so many people, even official sources like video games, official translations of video games, use every day as 1 word when they mean every day 2 words. Like, they would say something like, I go swimming every day at the swimming pool. That would mean I go swimming ordinary at the swimming pool. What are you talking about? Come on. Fan subs too. A lot of fan subs misuse every day for every day. Yeah, 1 word is adjective, 2 words means every day. You get it? Okay. Number 7, factoid. Another word a lot of people misuse. People think it means like just a little fact or a piece of trivia. They'll say, "Oh, here's a little factoid for you," or "That's an interesting factoid." No, it actually means more or less the opposite. Factoid means something that resembles a fact but has no actual basis in truth, or something that's false but that's repeated so often that people start to think it's true. You can see the etymology. The oid suffix at the end means more or less resembling. Compare android, which means resembling a man, andros being Greek for man and oid being resembling or shaped like. So it's basically something that resembles a fact but is not. So if you say something is a factoid, you're actually saying that it's false, really. So yeah, you choose your words carefully. I think the word you probably want is trivia. Trivia more or less means something like a small piece of information or knowledge, or just fact, whatever. Number 8. This is something called an egg corn, which I actually find pretty amusing most of the time, because some of them are pretty funny. An egg corn is when you hear a word or phrase, but you have no idea how to spell it, so when you write it down, you just write down whatever it sounds like to you, which is usually not correct. It comes from the fact that someone once wrote down the word acorn, which for somehow they had gotten through their whole life without ever seeing in print, as egg corn, one word. The particular egg corn that I'm talking about here is for all intensive purposes. Yeah. That's not really what it is. It's for all intents and purposes. It means for any possible it means for any possible situation, not for any intense situation. I don't know what to say about this. That's just weird. Okay, I know it can sound like that, but if you think about the words you're actually using, you'll realise why it doesn't make sense. It's for all intents and purposes. Okay, number 9. This is the big one. This is one I wish I had remembered to mention in the last video. I will shout this phrase from the rooftops. If I get a bit more money, I actually legitimately want to get a t-shirt with this phrase printed on it in big block letters and wear it every day of my life. That's every day 2 words. Wherever I go. Apostrophes do not make a plural. Okay? People, seriously, stop doing this. I don't want to see I ate 3 cupcakes with cupcake apostrophe S. No! Don't do it, okay? That's not how apostrophes work. Apostrophes are there to indicate possession or contractions, neither of which are in that sentence. If you put like cupcake apostrophe S, it means something belonging to the cupcake. Or it's a contraction of cupcake is, but that's not really grammatical anyway. But no, this gross as apostrophe thing needs to stop. I am serious. Apostrophes do not make a plural. That's gonna be on my epitaph. Like when I die, I'm gonna have it carved. It's gonna be carved on my gravestone. Apostrophes do not make a plural. And I bet they're going to put an apostrophe in apostrophes as well, aren't they? That's the one thing that really gets me annoyed. It's like, and gets too. Gets does not take an apostrophe either. It's a verb. It's not a contraction or a possessive. What are you doing? The only time, this is a slight detour, the only time a possessive does not take an apostrophe is when it's a possessive pronoun. So, for instance, if you're saying the banana is yours, it's yours, not your apostrophe s. The apple is hers, hers, not her apostrophe s. That's the only time that the only time that possessives don't take an apostrophe is when it's a pronoun. And the possessive form of he is his, his, not he's. That would mean he is. Okay, I'm done with that now. Yeah, but that's my motto for life. Apostrophes do not make a plural. Learn it, people. Okay, finally, number 10. 2 words that are often mixed up, and often mixed up in kind of stupid ways. Hollow and hallow. Hollow means empty. Hallow means sacred. the place in the world in Kingdom Hearts is called Hollow Bastion, not Hallow Bastion. There's loads of Kingdom Hearts fanfics that write it as Hallow Bastion. It's not. It's hollow. It's empty. Apart from all the Heartless, it's not sacred at all. It kind of used to be, if you think about when it was originally called Radiant Garden. It was like the big place to where all the stuff happened. But it's Hollow Bastion. And conversely, the final book in the Harry Potter series is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. They're sacred objects of great significance, both in plot and in actual worth. They're not empty places. And again, in the story itself, it's Godric's Hollow. It's a hole it's like a hole or cave or whatever it is. I don't remember. It's not Godric's Hallow. There's nothing sacred about it. Hollow is empty, Hallow is sacred. Don't get them mixed up. Oh yeah, and finally, I don't think I've ever seen this mistake being made, thankfully, but it would be pretty funny if it did. The famous song by Iron Maiden is called Hallowed Be Thy Name, not Hollowed. I don't know how you could hollow someone's name, really. That you can't really, empty out a person's name. You can't take the inside of it, of a name out. Hallowed as in sacred, as in worshipped, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. That's the opening lines of the Lord's Prayer. Okay, that's all 10, but I just remembered one more to call this a bonus, if you like, because I was going to talk about this anyway, but this was something I forgot to mention in my last video, and I want to mention it now while it's still fresh in my mind. This, a phrase that gets used a lot on online wikias, not Wikipedia, but the fan wiki sites for various fandoms and stuff, is main protagonist, which is actually extremely redundant. Protagonist means main character. It's literally from the Latin meaning first character. So main protagonist is like saying ATM machine. You're saying the same thing twice. It's like saying main character. By definition, there can only be one protagonist because the protagonist is the main character. If there's another character who seems also protagonist-ish alongside the main one, then that's called a deuteragonist, and the third character is called a tritagonist. I can't think of any case where there have been more than three main characters, apart from Super Sentai maybe. But yeah, main protagonist is just redundant. It's like saying PIN number, which a lot of people also do, which also pisses me off. The N stands for number. Personal identification number. PIN number is like personal identification number. Again, RPG game. This is so many people. I know it's a tangent of epic proportions, but it just came to my mind because it's something that annoys me a lot, of people making these redundant tautological statements. Like, okay, first off, it's not an RPG game, it's just an RPG, unless you're talking about RPG as in rocket propelled grenade, which actually I kind of want to play that now. But no, it's a role-playing game, not a role-playing game. ABS system, Jeep, automatic braking system, what? Come on. ATM machine, automated teller machine. Just say it once. You don't need to say it twice. It's not New York. It's not so good you need to name it twice. Finally, I can kind of forgive people for this, but because not many people know Spanish, but when people say cheese quesadilla, that's also redundant, because queso means cheese in Spanish. I think it's queso plus tortilla or something like that. But cheese quesadilla is like cheese something or other. So yeah, that's all I wanted to rant about you. What am I talking about? At you about for now. I'm gonna go. Okay. See you all on Wednesday for the next chapter. Wait, yeah, I am doing it on Wednesday. Well, tomorrow. Actually, today by my clock, because it just passed midnight. So I'll see you then for another chapter of the Restaurant at the End of the Universe. And if I don't, and because I will see you then, I'll just say goodbye for now. So, take care of yourselves and each other. Farewell, love and peace.